Welcome to All Things Mental,
a podcast that honors the messy, beautiful, nonlinear journey of healing. Because healing isn't about fixing what's broken.
It's about discovering what you need in this moment and learning to trust yourself along the way.
Here, we share stories, resources, and reminders that you're never alone on your path.
So take a breath, lean in, and remember,
you are not broken.
You're just becoming a more beautiful version of your higher self. We're your co-hosts, Michelle
and Leanna,
here to remind you that
you're never alone
on your healing journey. Hello and welcome to this week's episode where we are going to be talking about all things healing journey, I guess. I'm not really sure. The title is still, a working title. But we're going to discuss where we started in our healing journeys and what we used, like what tools we used, what resources we used, and what we use today and how it's evolved over time.
Yes, absolutely. So when I think of like the healing evolution in my own personal life, I think of the person who I was when I first had my trauma and my wounding back in 2017. And now I have become a master self-worth coach and have learned and been certified in various healing modalities. And I just think it's a beautiful arc of the actual journey itself in my eyes. Literally, I didn't even know I had anxiety in 2017. My therapist diagnosed me, which I guess is fine. If you really think about it, if we're supposed to get diagnosed by a therapist or by a doctor, I don't know. But that was just how it happened for me. She was like, "Hey, I think you have anxiety." And I'm like, what?
That makes sense. Yeah. I remember when I first started my healing journey, I went to therapy and I thought, this is all, it's just therapy, because that's all we were ever taught growing up. And I remember going in and having a session with her, and after a session or two, she was like, you have anxiety and you have PTSD, because something I didn't mention in the first episode, I believe, was that I was essayed by a girl and was told, oh, that doesn't count, for years. And I was like, well, it does, because I didn't want it to happen. And I remember working with her and going into my subconscious, and I didn't even know at the time it was my subconscious, and realizing that your body remembers so much trauma. So much trauma. It's kind of crazy that our bodies remember so much. I remember when I first became intimate with my husband, I would have moments where I would disassociate. And thankfully, he's an amazing person, and he would realize that I was disassociating, didn't get mad or anything like that, would just kind of comfort me and then figure out, okay, do we have to stop? Can we keep going? That sort of thing. But yeah, she was like, you have anxiety. And I was like, oh, cool. I have that now. Not realizing that I dealt with it my whole life.
Right. Yeah. I think only as we've been able to grow up, right, and become more emotionally intelligent, more aware of our anxiety and our healing and everything. I know for me, I had to connect the dots looking back and see that my first real anxiety bout was really when I was in middle school, and it was 6th grade, because I was in the play, and I was a munchkin in Wizard of Oz, and in the chorus, and it was so cute.
I was a theater kid too.
Yay. But yeah, that was fine. However, except the school homework and everything was just overwhelming for me. And I remember going to my mom being like, hey, I have all this homework and I don't know how I'm going to get it all done. And all she kind of said to me was like, just take it one step at a time. And when I really think about it, like that was nice of her to say, but also kind of dismissive and not like saying like, well, why do you feel this? And it wasn't like
Not
really
honoring your
exploring it.
feelings. Yeah, I feel
Right.
that. I do. Because I remember in eighth grade, I had this best friend, and I had known her since third grade because I think that's when I moved up to Pennsylvania. Was third grade was the first year, and I remember it was eighth grade. It was Halloween was a Friday, and I asked my mom, "Can I have a sleepover? I want to have a sleepover. I want to invite some girls from school over and have a sleepover, and we go trick or treating together." Mind you, to preface this story, I went to Catholic school. So, yeah, my mom said yes, but she did not say yes to the sleepover. She said that only my best friend could spend the night. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And everybody acted like it was fine. They came over, we went trick or treating, we hung out, they all left. The best friend stayed the night. That Monday at school, it was like everything was different. No one talked to me. No one acknowledged me, not even my supposed best friend. And I remember going up to her like 2 weeks later and asking her, hey, like, you haven't talked to me and I'm not really sure what's going on. And I will never forget it, what she said to me ever. She was like, well, I was never really your best friend. I was just waiting for somebody better to come along. And
Right.
I honestly think that that's probably where my trust issues and where my anxiety stems from, because that's really hard. Like, I remember going through eighth grade and no one really talked to me. And the only time that anyone really spoke to me was when we had to, like, in class and do projects. I remember one time this kid like patted me on the back and it was a sign, kick me, I'm a loser. And thankfully, like, the teachers didn't do anything. And I remember the quote unquote popular girls taking me into the bathroom and taking it off my back. Now, mind you, that was kind of them, but at the same time, they didn't then try to be my friend.
Yeah.
And I went to high school with girls that were in the same like elementary school for me, because I went to a K through 8 school and then I went to high school. And in high school, I was being bullied to the point of harassment, and those were my dad's words, not mine. And I remember him going, because at Catholic school, you have to pay a tuition. It's not free education. You have to pay
Right.
tuition. And I remember my dad went to the principal or the dean, I don't remember which it was, and was like, hey, they're no longer bullying my kid. They're straight up harassing her.
Oh my God.
And I need you to do something about it. They didn't do anything. So my dad pulled me out. But what really annoys me is I didn't find out till I moved in with my aunt that he told my whole entire family, oh, well, Michelle's too stupid to go to college, so we're just going to put her in public school. Mind you, I'm the only one in my family that has a master's now.
Yeah.
But I remember that annoying me to no end when I found that out, because I was talking to my aunt and my aunt was like, I didn't believe what he said. So I moved in with her, and like when you move in with somebody, you kind of have like heart to hearts and get to know each other, especially like, a family member. And I always considered her to be like, she's one of my best friends. And we had like, several heart to hearts, and now we're even closer than we were then, because I lived with her for 5 years. But that just took me back, like, oh, he was doing this, such a kind thing for me, but he didn't tell my family the truth. He told my family, oh, she's too stupid.
Dang.
And that still bothers me to this day. Like, going to therapy, I thought that was the only answer for my healing journey. And I've been to therapy a lot. I'm still in therapy. But like, it's kind of like what I mentioned in the first episode. It's like oiling the car. I go when I need it. Like right now, I'm seeing a therapist and she focuses on like doing like game style stuff. Like I play D&D, so she had me create a character sheet for myself, not for a character, for myself, like my own stats and all of that. And she wants me to actually roll a D20 when I, am feeling low and don't have enough like spoons or spell slots, whatever you want to call it. And that's where my healing journey is now, where I do hypnosis, I journal when I feel I feel needed, I feel led to. I feel like I should probably journal more. But when I first started the healing journey, I thought it was just therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I can relate so much to that because like I was in therapy with just this one therapist for like a year until I realized I'm like, I think I need more. Like more out of not this therapist, but like more out of the healing journey itself. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of going there each week and then she would stop me at like the hour or the 45 minutes or however long and okay, I think we're not I think she's like, okay, yeah, we're done now. I think they something like no, not in a very nice, polite way, but like that would be it. It would be just the session of me venting and talking about my issues and then moving on with my day and not
I
really
thrive on
feeling better.
homework when it comes to therapy. Give me something to do, which is I think is why I thrive so much more with my anxiety coach, who is now a hypnotherapist.
Mm,
The first thing I ever paid money to her was this 21-day email where she sent you an email every day and told you, hey, do this, hey, do that. And it was, some of them were self-development videos, some of them were self-development articles. And that was 2018, 2019. And then she did this program called, I don't recall the name of it, but basically like it was a monthly subscription, and she would do lives, and then she would also post self-development videos in there that she actually recorded herself. And I was actually the guinea pig for it. She was like, she messaged me because I worked with her for a while, and she's like, hey, I want to send you a self-development video a day, and then in a week I want us to hop on a live and you tell everybody what you thought of it. I'm like, okay, I can do that for you. And so I did that for her. We hopped on, and I was like, honestly, it's a game changer. And I didn't realize it was just videos. That's when I discovered podcasts and I discovered books and all the other resources that are out there.
yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I my first like coach, I guess that I worked well, I didn't really work with her live until I had applied for the coaching certification in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But it was from 2018. That was when I found the podcast and did a lot of the free guides that were available through the podcast, through the monthly journaling that they did every November. Like, so I did that for years. And then I would buy like some of the programs that they did and stuff. And like, I learned so much just in that self-development, like how to set boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and how to like work with my anxiety and like
How to
sit.
talk to it.
Yeah,
Do
like
it.
the parts of like understanding that we are made up of parts, not just like one, like yes, we're one being, but we have a lot of parts of us, and we can talk to those parts and like start to make sense of them in different ways. Like that is what really was pivotal for me and what inspired me ultimately once I learned of the coaching certification, that I was like, I'm going to pursue this and see what I can do here, because at the time I had the ability to take out a loan and money, I could pay for it type of thing. Like, and it was this amazing transformational journey experience. And I've talked before where I've also done a retreat. I went on Mary's retreat in 2021, and then I hosted my own in 2023. Like, it's every year has been like this
Circle.
building block. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like pure amazement and healing. And learning all these techniques. Like I have so many essential oils, like I barely have room.
Same. I have so many crystals as well.
Yeah, the
Crystals
crystals.
are like and it's crazy because when I was a kid, we used to travel the country. We would fly to a certain part of the country, and my parents would take us to like different national parks. And one of the things that I always loved getting was in the gift shop. They had like those like rocks that were like pretty different colors. I would get those. And then I had this realization literally a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, it's like the rocks, but in the shop, but now it's, crystals that I know the meaning behind the crystal.
Yeah.
Like I learned about gratitude through my healing journey. That was taught to me also by my anxiety coach, who is again now a hypnotherapist. I remember she did a challenge for like 30 days, where just post like 3 things that you're grateful for. And now my grateful journey, I guess we'll call it, has turned into it went from doing it on my stories and typing it out to doing videos and just keeping it like under a minute to journaling to just sending my friend a voice note every morning.
Mm.
And gratitude and joy are 2 of the things that are very helpful on my healing journey. Through my healing journey, that's where I discovered I like Legos. I discovered painting. I remember when me and my now husband moved in together, I was depressed for a little bit, and he was like, you should try painting out your feelings. And I'm like, that won't work. And he's like, okay, why don't you try it before you say that? And I like moped like a kid. I was like, fine, whatever, I'll do it. So I did it, and it worked. I did not work like completely, but I discovered this new way to express myself. And I use painting now to express myself in when words are not enough. Like I can't just paint for the sake of painting. Like I have a friend who's like such a talented artist, but for me, it's very like abstract. Like I can go to painting with a twist and do a class, but for me, it's just sitting down and kind of just painting out my feelings. Like, what am I feeling right now? I've done 2. My first ever painting, it's a heart with paint just kind of like coming down the canvas.
Oh,
And I called it letting the anxiety out.
wow.
And I still have it. It literally hangs in my room, and I see it every morning when I wake up.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's really, really special. I resonate so much with you in saying that, you through your healing journey, you've been able to find like new passions and new hobbies and things like that. Like that has been the past year and a half for me. Like
1.5, 2 years for me. Yeah, it's crazy what you discover on your healing journey and what comes up as going through what you're like processing. Because before, when we were in survival mode, but we just didn't realize it.
That's so true. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm in my thriving, like going from surviving to thriving. Like I'm in my thriving phase now, like having this amazing life that I'm just so grateful for. Like I recently just acknowledged it, like that gratitude, like you were saying, like this feeling of like pure bliss and love and light, like just washing over me. And I was just like, yeah, this is what I'm still here for. Like, because there were so many times like through my own journey of, going through suicidal thoughts and stuff, and just, not wanting to be here, to now feeling like I have a life worth living.
Yes.
And that is so powerful, because this life worth living is something that I don't want to leave, and it's not because like, you can think about the people in your life that you'd not want to have them, leave you behind, or, leave them behind, like type of thing. Like that to me wasn't enough. Like it's now that I look forward to going to sleep every night and then waking up every day to this new joy that can just be found in every moment. Like having this amazing feeling really just stick with me has been so beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. And there's other things that I discovered on my healing journey that have helped me. Like for instance, I met my human design coach, had no idea what human design was. And
Mm.
I learned that I'm a generator, and that means that I put energy out there and I'm a responder and all these other things. And I have this like piece of paper in my room by my bedside, and it has red flags and green flags for my human design, and I live by it to a T as best I can. Because I remember back when my human design coach was still doing calls or sessions, whatever, where I did one where we focused on that. And I literally was like, okay, hang on. And I got a piece of paper and I wrote it all down. And then I made a prettier one that wasn't just, quickly taking notes. And it's helped me so much too. And through it, I've discovered more of myself, and I've discovered why I am the way I am,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. I even had an astrology reading by I think you're friends with her.
Bliss.
Yeah, Bliss.
Love her. Shout out to Bliss.
Like I love her so much, and we talk all the time.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, I
Not
love.
like recently, but like
Right.
when things come up or whatever.
Yeah, I think like getting any bit of knowledge about ourselves helps us have higher self-worth. Like, for example, I also am really into the Enneagram. Like I love acknowledging that I'm a helper type. I'm the Enneagram 2, and I have a 3 wing, so I'm an achiever also, which is so in alignment with me. And like I now am doing work that is very much soul aligned, where I'm helping people every day and I'm just making a difference in their day. Like, you know, even just if I have to answer the phone or something, like, and I help them over the line, like, and then they, thank you so much for, like, it just means the world to me to know that, like, I'm getting something done and being productive and in someone's life for even just that, hour or less that, we have an intro, like if I have to follow up or something,
Yeah.
but like stuff like that it's just been really great because I I love I love this life and I love being here and able to experience it. Like something that maybe we can talk about even in its own episode or something is just like this concept of like we don't know what's coming, but
Yeah.
we know that we're here to enjoy the moment. And
Mm,
like oh, this is like so powerful. I I love that, like, because like 5 years ago, I never would have thought that I would have been playing pickleball regularly. Even I've competed in 2 tournaments now. Like I didn't even know I'd be doing that. Like, and people ask what your 5-year plan is. Like, I hate that because it's like you don't know what's going to happen.
you
Like,
don't.
why not just live for the
Enjoy the
moment and see what the future holds and keep going towards it? Like, that's what we got to stick
I'm not
around
saying
for.
you can't have a plan, but like trusting the process and
Mhm.
the universe will guide you. Like I remember in 2016, that's the year I left my situationship, and I believe I said this before, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that 2016 was one of the best years of my life. But when it happened, I did not realize it in the moment. But in 2016, that's when I left my situationship. It's also when I decided to go back to school. And it's because I went back to school because I got into a car accident and it made me reevaluate my life. And I was told by my doctor, what do you want to do? And I told him, and he's like, you can't do that. You have to do something that'll allow you to sit and stand when you can. And I've always loved children. And I mentioned this before that I'm a teacher. I remember working at Disney and having this principal come up to me and say to me, you know, you'd make a really good teacher. Like, are you a teacher? And I was like, no, ma'am. Nuh-uh. You couldn't pay me enough. Oh, I'm a teacher. Everything happens for a reason. Like, the accident happened on the anniversary of my grandmother's death. And still to this day, I remember when I got home that night, my aunt was like, well, this is grandma's way of pushing you in the right direction. And I was just like, okay, I'll be there tomorrow or next week. Right now, I'm allowed to be pissed because I was mad. And it was just so beautiful. And to this day, I still say that she's the reason why I became a teacher.
Oh, that's so special and beautiful.
Through that experience, I have learned more about myself, and I feel like I can support my students' emotions because now I'm emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, the emotional intelligence is so key to develop over time. Like, obviously, when we're 20, mid 20s or so, our brain fully develops and everything, but then we can also decide to further deepen our emotional intelligence and learn more about how to be a healthy adult and like all that stuff. And I think it's so powerful that like we can dig deep into, I was going to say dive deep, dig deep, like into our psyche and learn how to better exist, because then that makes a model for other healthy people in the world. And that's so
absolutely. You have to put forward what you want to see in this world. Like, going back to the 21-day thing, that email address that I did with my anxiety coach. One of the days was pay it forward. And I'm going to forget this. I went to the drive-thru, I ordered food, and I paid for my food and the person behind me. And I remember being at the window to pick up my food. And I looked in my rearview mirror. That person paid for the person behind them. So I don't know how long it lasted, but it was just absolutely beautiful that that happened. And like, you have to put the good you want to see in the world. There was this movie, I don't remember what it was called, but I remember feeling very inspired by it, where it was like, if one person does something kind for 3 people, and then those 3 people do something kind for 3 other people, it'll eventually be a chain reaction, and everybody, I think it's called Pay It Forward, but I'm not 100% sure. But I remember being so inspired by that movie, and that's what you have to do once you've gone on a healing journey, or even while you're on the healing journey. Pay it forward. Like I always say, is one of my favorite quotes from a Disney movie, "Have courage and be kind." It's from the Cinderella live action. And that quote to me is, have the courage to still be kind even when other people aren't being kind. Pay it forward.
That's amazing. I love that so much. I really do, because the world that we're in gives us so many reasons to be unkind or unloving, unsupportive, to feel like our life isn't worth living, I guess. I feel like there's so much ammo to that. But the truth is that we have to build a life worth living. Like, that's what I learned in DBT therapy this year. Well, that's actually redundant. Dialectical behavioral therapy. I learned that with my therapist this year, because she gave me that phrase, live a life worth living. And I think it's just so powerful to acknowledge that, like, we have the ability to create this life that we are happy to be a part of. And for somebody like us who've had mental health struggles, and I can speak for myself, and who's contemplated, ending it type of thing. Like, I don't, that version of me feels so far away now. Like, I'm just so grateful that, like, I can still be here and be happy and alive and thrive.
We've talked about this before, but like, we're both so protective of our inner selves. Like, I'm so protective of my 9-year-old self. I'm so protective of my 16-year-old self, all the way to the girl that walked away. And I always try my best to be authentic and be real, but I'm human. I'm going to have my moments. Like, we're all going to have our moments. Like, there's a book, Four Agreements.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is to never assume, to always essentially give yourself grace. Because, like, you might do one of those, agreements, like, because we're human. And it's just such a powerful tool, self-development, like reading and then journaling about it. That's where I started. And now I'm at the point where I'm doing hypnosis, and I've rewired my brain in so many ways. I'm now a better listener. Because of that hypnosis session, I can do this podcast and actually like be able to listen to you and be able to respond. But I remember when I was a kid, I was told to be quiet and not say anything. So it got to the point where I eventually was like, okay, well, why should I listen? If no one's going to listen to me, why should I listen to them?
Mm.
And people don't realize this, and I'm pretty sure it's by the age of 8. Your subconscious is programmed by the age of 8 years old. That's absolutely insane to me. And I'm grateful as a teacher to have students who are in their last year of their program subconscious. So I try my best to be kind, give them grace, because in return they give me grace. Like, I think if people see you being authentic and acting like a human, they'll realize, oh, okay, I'm allowed to make mistakes too. So I'm showing that to my students, because they've never had a teacher that has done that before. Like, I apologized to one of my students the other day, and they were like, you apologized? And I was like, yeah, well, I never had a teacher do that before. And I was like, I'm different.
Hmm. Wow. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that so much. Wow. I don't even know what to say. This is so nice, because like the evolution of healing, like, is everlasting, like,
And it's ever going. Like,
yeah.
podcast episode that I did with you on your original podcast was that healing is not linear.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna keep going. You're gonna have moments where you're like, I'm good. And then you could smell something, hear something, and it just puts you back. And it's not even that it's putting you back. It's just reminding you of something else that you have to heal,
Yeah.
which used to annoy me to no end. I remember realizing, oh, I have something else to heal, and being like annoyed by it. But I'm just still so grateful to be alive and be living this life that I'm trying my best to not say that.
Yeah. Oh, that literally like makes me emotional. Because yeah, it's so important to do the work. And
it is important to do the work. Emotional intelligence is so important. It's something that I don't want to ever lose. And I know I'm not going to, but like, if I ever have children, I want to pass it on to them and be emotionally intelligent for them, so that way they can learn how to regulate their emotions. Because that's something that I was not taught growing up.
right.
I
Totally.
remember being told, stop with the crocodile tears.
Oh.
Yeah. So now I'm at the point when I have a good cry, I have a good cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first time I cried in my husband's arms. I was like bawling like a baby. And he healed something in me when he did not tell me to stop crying. He just let me cry. He said, baby, let it out. And he still does that to this day. Like, he heals my inner children all the time. without even realizing it. Like we'll be having a conversation or doing this or doing that, and he does something simple and it'll heal my inner child. And I'll just like laugh and he'll be like, what is so funny? And I'm like, it's something my inner child said. You won't get it. And he goes, no, tell me. I want to know. And he'll either make fun of me or he will, like in like a roasting way, not in like a mean way. Or he'll be like, aw, you're so cute. And then give me a kiss on the forehead.
Aw, I love that so much. Yeah, I mean, how truly blessed are we to have our partners in our lives like that truly get it, you know, because
Yeah.
as you've shared before, and I understand too in different ways, just like being with the wrong person in your life like can really, really mess you up. And like,
And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember something that he said to me. He was like, if I did not have the upbringing that I had,
Mhm.
and I also had trauma, we would have more fights. And I was like, why? Why do you think that? And he's like, because like you are healing parts of yourself every day, and you don't even realize it sometimes. You realize it after the fact. And like, true. And he goes, and then there's me who had like the perfect childhood. And I'm like, yeah, you had the perfect childhood. And he reminds me that it's not that we wouldn't have worked. It just would have been harder.
Yeah. I think it's a choice. Like my husband's been through a lot, and he has, whether he is conscious or unconscious with it, but I think in ultimately the end story is that he has this awareness of life that is so beautiful, and chose to take from what he went through, and he's like a good person despite it all, in spite of it all, despite it all, like
That's
all
beautiful.
of that. Yeah, it's really powerful to acknowledge our journey and be like, it could have gone a different way. We could have become narcissists and just continued the cycle, but no, we're the cycle breakers.
Amen.
Yeah. Yay. It's so hard, but it's so like emotionally draining to be the cycle breaker, because like we're carrying decades and decades and generations of trauma on our shoulders, and like we're sitting here like, okay, now we got to like heal from this, but we're making but it's also the path and the road less traveled to actually become somebody who is healing and is on the healing journey. Like it is so special and powerful and amazing. And I'm just so proud of us, truly. And all of us listening to this episode, like you're on the journey too, you know, like it's
And we're now part of your journey.
Yay. Yes, absolutely. Aw, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I feel like this is a good place to end this week's episode. Thank you all for listening and for tuning in and watching us wherever you are. Let us know. And
if you're in Paris, I'm jealous.
imagine us reaching Europe. That'd be so fantastic.
That would be so
Australia, or who knows where.
Who knows? We'll see. The sky is the limit. The internet is crazy.
Yeah.
The internet brought us together.
I know. We're so grateful. Yeah. So keep going, keep it on, and
We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. See you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of All Things Mental.
Please follow us on social media at All Things Mental Podcast to let us know how this episode helped you on your healing journey.
Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts so that you don't miss an episode.
And remember,
you are not broken.
you're just becoming a more beautiful version
of your higher self.